January of 2015, not only was the weather cold and dark, but so was my heart. I was in a very emotional place. I was sad and I was lonely. I was lost and I didn't know who I was. I finally found the courage to leave a relationship that had become toxic. After 15 years of trying to make things work, I didn't know who I hated more, him or myself. I had agreed to live by his contract that life was hard, we were broke, and bad things happened to us. Living by this contract made me a very ugly person, somebody I didn't recognize, and somebody I couldn't be proud of. Living by this contract also inspired my inner drama llama to be alive and well. Are you familiar with the infamous drama llama? Perhaps you know one. Perhaps you are one. Perhaps you were one like me. I lived out my life as one huge problem. Everything was a big deal, and I mean everything. I complained about my life, and I took little action to move it forward. If something went wrong, do you know whose fault it was? Spoiler alert, it wasn't me. It was always somebody else's fault. It was a never-ending cycle of worry, fears, tears, and drama. I worried about my kids, my health, money. I was afraid I would lose my job, and something as simple as a car repair could bring me to tears. I would share my worries and stories with anybody who would listen, and it was exhausting. I got to the point that I knew I could no longer feed my inner drama llama. I had to do something. And I wish I could remember exactly how I got to this, but I got a mantra, and it was peace, grace, and joy. And I decided to move forward with that, living my life in that manner. That meant there would be no more drama, no more bickering. I let go of friends that fed my inner drama llama, and I chose peace. When things went off track, like they sometimes do, and I had an unexpected car repair, I approached it with grace. And by that I mean I learned to roll with it. No drama, all the while searching for joy. I remember asking my partner to come along with me. I asked him, why don't you want to be happy with me? We could have such an amazing life. We have so much to be grateful for. The more I chose peace, grace, and joy in my life, the greater the disparity and toxicity of that relationship showed itself. And this is what propelled me to leave. I bought the cutest little house, and on July 1st, 2015, I moved in. I felt excited and light as I went about making my house a home. I created a loving environment that was peaceful and calm for my children. And I invited my friends to join me in my space. I was so excited for all the new memories that we would create. One day, I received a text and a screenshot from a friend. The text said, "This is how I feel when I'm at your house." The screenshot was of a wooden sign with an unusual word, its pronunciation, and its meaning. And the word was gezellig, and it means a feeling, warm, comfortable, relaxing, friendly ambiance, cozy atmosphere, pleasant togetherness. You could not have paid me a higher compliment to know that my lifestyle of peace, grace, and joy was even translating into my home. Well, there's another story about Gezellig, but we'll leave that for another day and fast forward to December 2015 and my unbridled excitement for my first Christmas in our new home. You see, Christmas is magic to me. It's about family and good food and fun and connection. And my previous partner did not share that joy with me. So this was the year that all things Christmas could be unleashed. I got my kids into the car and I drove them out into the country to a farm to get a real Christmas tree. I adorned my elf hat and matching stripy knee socks, much to their chagrin. We got the tree home and we wrestled it into the tree stand. I had bought matching turquoise and silver ornaments and a tree skirt. I prepared all of our favorite foods, we listened to Christmas carols, and we decorated our tree. I was in heaven. I bought Christmas bedding and even decorated my bedroom. The Christmas spirit was propelling me full steam ahead, and I bought papers and ribbons and tags to match my Christmas tree ornaments. I lovingly wrapped each of my children's gifts with all of my hopes and dreams of the season. As I'm sure many of you experienced, life can change on a dime. And that happened on December 21st, 2015, when my then 16-year-old son attempted suicide. The contrast to how things had been was inconceivable. I had just recalibrated some sense of myself when I was bulldozed by this. The pain was so great, I couldn't comprehend it. And the next morning, my sister was at my house taking care of things, and I only had one task. That was to get out of bed and go to the hospital to a meeting. That task could not have been more daunting. My mind could not imagine how I could get out of bed with a heart so heavy. But my mind tried, and it said, "You should have a bath." And I thought, I can't. I have nothing left to give. Not even enough to get up and have a bath. And my mind tried again, and it asked, "Can you sit up?" And I thought, yeah, I can sit up. "Can you put your feet on the floor?" Yeah, I can put my feet on the floor. "Can you stand up?" Yeah. "Can you take a step?" Yeah. "Can you take another step?" Yes. I took baby steps forward until I made it to the bath and I made it to the hospital. And with each baby step, my mindset changed, and I realized that I could do hard things by taking the smallest step. Although this mindset served me well, this was not my biggest aha moment, and that came several days later. You see, my son has this amazing group of friends that came to visit him every day that he was in the hospital for 10 days. Only 2 people were allowed to visit at a time, and on this particular day, his dad and sister were visiting. The rest of us were sitting around a small table tucked in an alcove near the Tim Hortons. One of his friends is an 80s music fan, and he was playing Depeche Mode. I also happen to be an 80s music fan, so I asked them, "Hey guys, do you want me to show you how we danced in the 80s? Well, there was a resounding yes, or at least that's how I remember it. So I started dancing. I was on fire. Think about Carlton, Fresh Prince of Bel-Air. And in that moment, something clicked, and there was a tiny flash of guilt. But then there was an even bigger realization that I was experiencing joy, and I could choose joy over guilt. Sorry. Not only did my son begin his recovery and healing, but so did I. And now 4 years later, we're both doing well. I'm living a life of peace, grace, and joy. I practice gratitude, mindfulness, and meditation. I take 100% responsibility for my life. And you know, if something goes wrong, whose fault it is? Spoiler alert, it's mine. All of this has led me here today, sharing with you, making my dreams come true. In closing, I'd like to leave you with this. 25 years ago, if you had told me I would be living my best life with the following stats, I wouldn't have believed you. My stats are that I'm 50 plus, I'm single, and I live alone with 2 cats. Yet, here I stand, reveling in the deliciousness of my life. I know that life can be hard, selfish, boring, and hateful, but I also know it can be loving, kind, fun, And I tell myself every day, your life, you choose. Thank you.
So